about similar subject matter, then he would say I violated the rules of national security. I know exactly what he's up to, and that is why I will continue to do my job, which is Leader of the Opposition, to hold him accountable. I will not be silenced. This is Canada, and in Canada we have the freedom of expression. Thank you.
Questions and comments?
They put on a big show in here. We've already passed a motion like this, by the way. The government didn't do anything because the NDP kept them in power. And back in committee, they do exactly the same thing. They speak, they go to hold press conferences and act all tough. Back in committee, all they do is give all the procedural support necessary for the Prime Minister to cover it up again and again and again.
That was offered by the intelligence services so that he can put an end to his ignorance of the details and learn the details on these serious matters like foreign interference. I would encourage the Leader of the Opposition to inform himself properly.
First of all, the number of police stations controlled by a foreign dictatorship in Canada is not a detail. It would not be a detail if any government had foreign police stations operating on our soil. Second of all Canadians deserve to know the answer. The government claimed that it shut down all these police stations. Now we know there are 2 in operation and that the Prime Minister's government has given taxpayers money to help fund them. Simple question. How many of Beijing's police stations are operating on Canadian soil today? How many?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well know, and as Canadians well know, this government takes extremely seriously the issue of foreign interference and has since 2015 when we brought in significant measures to counter foreign interference and continue to. The RCMP is quite rightly charged with the responsibility of investigating and following up on these reports of Beijing-funded police stations. But indeed, if the Leader of the Opposition is so curious...
The Right Honourable Prime Minister, I just want to remind everyone the way it works is you ask a question and then you listen to the answer, whether you like it or not. You can't keep asking the question over and over again while the person's speaking. So I just want to point that out. I'll let the, maybe 30 seconds, we'll bump it up. We won't take the full amount, but the Right Honourable Prime Minister, please.
Mr. Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition continues to have questions like many Canadians do on foreign interference, I would suggest that he actually takes up our security agencies on the offer they have made to him of getting briefed up on all the intelligence related to foreign interference so he doesn't have to hide behind, and I quote the report on this, a veil of ignorance and can actually work from the facts.
Instead of defending his record, he states false.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Prime Minister can brief all Canadians right now.
Hear, hear.
These are police stations that exist to harass and intimidate Canadian citizens on Canadian soil. No real country would allow a foreign dictatorship to run police stations on its soil. Yes. The Americans are arresting Beijing's agents in their country. So one last time, I'll give the Prime Minister the chance to answer the question. How many police stations, how many, and how many is Beijing operating on Canadian soil?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition were to take this issue of foreign interference seriously as an issue facing diaspora communities, as an issue facing Chinese Canadians, he would be interested in actually understanding the facts around foreign interference. But instead, he chooses to play partisan games. He chooses to make personal attacks against the former Governor-General instead of actually accepting to take this issue seriously. He knows full well the RCMP's responsibility is to do these investigations and make arrests, and they are actually following up on that.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, Canada no longer has a democratic government worthy of the name. It has a Prime Minister who is refusing to clear up doubts about his willingness to cover up secrets that we are not yet even aware of. And yet we should ask people in Xinjiang or in Hong Kong how things are being dealt with by China, or ask the Tibetans what the Chinese Communist Party is doing. Ask members in this House who have been intimidated how Mr. Xi Jinping does things. Does this Prime Minister not want to set things right before going into the history books as someone who is following the wishes of a hostile foreign power? The right honor.
Mislead people for some other purpose.
Damn right, there's a lot of misleading going on, and I think said person is one of them. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Check it.